Today's demo is how to create an open mouth on an animal, and we're also going to talk about eyes and ears today. First thing you want to do, have both of your pictures with you. Draw out with your needle tool a side view of what the mouth looks like. Okay?
If
Yeah.
our animal doesn't have we have to draw like the lips out.
The question is, if your animal doesn't have an open mouth, do you have to draw it out? Nope, not yet. The reason we don't create this in the beginning as an open mouth is because we need the clay to be stiff, otherwise the mouth will just collapse. And for anyone doing a snake, you can actually go all the way through if you want. Right to the back if you want. But I'm going to choose not to. I'll have a little bit more stability if I don't. Plus, I had decided that I'm going to use mine as a plant pot. And this clay is already porous, so it won't hold on to water very long. I'm leaving a line, a solid line, to cut the teeth out of, so I'm not removing the negative space of the teeth. And at this point, I can manipulate the front of the mouth like this by just pinching it. And I'm feeling that it's not mushy, it's pretty stiff. I'm applying counter pressure. And I'm moving very quickly. Don't feel like you have to move this quickly. I'm just moving quickly because I realize that there's only 2 people in this particular class that have open mouths on their animal. Also, don't feel like you need to get the complete thinness of that mouth yet, of that jaw yet. You don't need to. Especially since we have the weekend to contend with, and there's going to be a lot of details added. I want to look at this from directly above. And now I'm going to look at it from the side. Check this out. Look at this gaping mouth. I'm noticing that I still need to carve more from the corners, right? All the way down. Compression in clay is important, so like I'm creating that little thing in the corner of the mouth, and I just want to pinch it, like this.
So then the people who don't have to draw our mouths on it, we just have to watch.
Watch, or you can
Add 'em out.
work on something else. Pretty soon we're going to talk about eyes. Okay. So it almost looks like a turtle because the way I formed it. So no matter what, you don't want to say to yourself, Self, it kind of looks like a turtle, so now I think I'm going to change and do a turtle, because then you'll have a turtle snake, and it won't really look like either. So you want to persevere and go for the shape that you're working to get. It looks like a turtle right now because I need to lift this up. That line is a little off, and see how quickly I can change that. Again, compression in clay is important. So you're going to pinch the clay, and you can literally just manipulate it. The worst thing you can do, though, when you're thinning clay like this, is add water. Don't add the water. Just add pressure. Beth Stitcher is a sculptor that creates 6-foot rabbits out of clay. She doesn't add any water. They are kind of terrifying.
Do they look like kangaroos?
Huh?
Do they look like kangaroos?
They look like killer huge rabbits. And she doesn't add any water, she just compresses the clay. Hi.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm getting closer, right? But I'm noticing that these are even height, so I'm pinching the clay even more. Compress, compress, compress. The question might be, how do I avoid cracking? What if my tile is cracking? You just need to compress the clay. Okay. I'm going to finish the other side on my prep period, but let's talk about eyes. Raise your hand if you are doing something that has eyes. This is the best, okay? Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, like, naked mole rats don't have eyes, right?
Well, I mean, I think his eyes are just really, really hard to see. And they're really tiny.
You're going to take both of your pictures.
Yeah.
Guys, look up here. Stop and look. Look at both of your pictures, okay? And what you're going to do is identify the placement where the eyes are. So everybody grab your needle tool. Okay? Look at both of your pictures. And what you're going to do is draw out your eyes first, where they go. How do I know how far they are back in the head? I'm going to look this way and compare. Yes. Yes. You can take slip if you need it. Yeah.
I took a picture of my dog, but I never had a side picture, so actually, like, you know what I mean?
What's your question?
Like, this picture of my dog, and then I didn't have a picture of the side of them.
That's okay. You can use those.
I can. I like you. And how do we fold the paper? Miss White, how do we fold the paper like that?
Like,
So if I just have the head right now, it's fine.
get all the people around you know how. Sam, can you help him out? And then to get the opposite eye, I'm going to make sure that it's straight across. And see how this clay is cracking? I'm just smoothing it out. Sage, so we did open mouth, hollow out with loop tools.
Okay.
And now we're doing eyes. So you need a little bit of clay and loop tools. Okay, does everybody have their clay and their needle tool? Yeah. Okay. How do you get even eyes? Look at what I did. It's almost like he has glasses on. I'm making sure that the eyes are equally plane from each other. Even though I'm not worried that I don't have scales or any of that other stuff yet, texture is last. Except for the background, which we already did, hopefully. The texture is last, okay? So, I used the side view picture to figure out how far back the eyes are. And then I know that I want it symmetrical on the other side, so I made this line across. What the biggest mistake people make, ready for this one?
Yeah.
Is they look at their front view and they forget to get the depths in, and they have two eyeballs, like, right in front, like, in the front. So don't let that be you. You don't want two eyeballs, like, right in the front of this, because it just won't work, okay? So you need it as far back as your side picture shows, okay? Draw them out, and then you're going to take your loop tool, and what size loop tool do you use? It depends. If you have a chipmunk, then the eyes are really small, so you would use this size loop tool. If you need this loop tool, you can come get it from me. If you have large eyes, like a tiger or a lion or a cat, or you would need a big loop tool like this. Okay? If you have something in between, like a raccoon, maybe this. Okay? Alright, so check this out. And this technique can be applied to, like, other things too, like face mugs and stuff. And when I was a potter full-time, I sold a lot of face mugs. So this is a useful skill. Oh yeah. Ready? Here we go. We're going to do some surgery. Ready?
Yeah.
You're going to carve out
Oh my god.
a hemisphere. If you take your loop tool, stick it in, and twirl it, that's what you get. Now watch what happens. I'm going to take wet clay, scratch this. You don't necessarily have to put slip in here. You're going to make a sphere.
Disturbing. Ooh.
Too big, right?
Yeah.
So the goal is that you want the eye to set in. Still a little big. Perfect. So you gotta work it out so you get the proportion right. That looks pretty darn good.
It does.
Thank you.
Great.
What would I do without you? I don't know. I don't know either. You are. Okay, now, shh. Listen. Steven, just look. Next is lids. So Chris, I know we have the unfortunate thing where some people's backs are to me, so turn and look. And what you're going to want to identify is the shape of your lid. Okay? If you have a lion, your bottom lid is smaller than your top lid, and the top lid becomes like or any kind of big cat, your top lid becomes like a brow kind of thing. But this guy just has a little tiny lid. See? It's almost like not like a lid, it's just like a little coil. So what I'm going to do, and this also holds the eyeball in the eye socket, is I'm going to make a coil. And I'm going to coil it around like that. Okay? And then I'm going to take my finger and only smooth the face side. How cool is that? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carve out the iris. Look at this. Strange shape, right? Now when I put glaze or underglaze in this little area right here, this crease, it won't run on everything else because I just did an indent. I just indented. Okay? And then I do the same thing on the other side, and that's done and ready to be fired and glazed. The last thing that you're going to worry about, well, not worry, but is the nostrils. Again, if your clay is cracking, you're going to smooth it like this. Compression is important. Who has a difficulty with their clay cracking a little bit? Anybody? You're just going to compress it like this. Another thing you can do is add not straight water, but a little bit of slip from one of the throwing buckets, and that will act like a type of a glue. Okay? Okay, I'm making sure that I have a pretty much symmetrical nose. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't in the screen. There we go. And some of this stuff, like the other side of the head, I didn't fix, but now I'm going to take my small loop tool and I'm going to hollow out the nostril. And you can do this, like, just put a mark on each side. Or, like, if you have a big cat, you can draw out the nostril first, or sculpt it first and then do that. Okay? I'm going to show you just quickly how to do a big cat eye. Because raise your hand if you have a big cat, like a tiger or a lion. If this is the flat plane of your clay, going to take your loop tool, put it in, turn, make a sphere of clay to go on the inside. There's also a demo online on my YouTube channel of how to do a fish and a bird. So if you have a fish or a bird, there's a separate video for that. Here's my lion eye. You're going to do underneath. This is what the lid looks like.
What if it doesn't have
a lid? What animal do you have?
I have a Shih Tzu.
Then you're going to do one circular, something to hold in that sphere. So one circular, he probably has a brow.
He's like brindle and black, so around here it's really black.
Bring the picture up. Bring both of them up. And there we go. So there's an animal that has a little bit more of a lid on it. And then...
Can you give us glasses if you want? Like...
Yeah, you can be... Yeah.
Okay.
You can do fun stuff.
See how kind of like it's very brindle and black around here,
Okay. So the question is, what would you do with an eye like this? Your top coil should be this whole eyebrow. So you would build up a large coil of clay above it and a skinny coil of clay underneath it. So he actually does have it. He actually does. There's a big lump of clay right above the eye. See that right here? Okay.
Here's your eye.
You can have it if you want. All right, and that's it. Thanks.